Hey friend, are you tired of having to file forms to create a new LLC every time you start a new business or buy a new product? Well, I might have the solution for you. It's called a Series LLC, and it may be the key to saving you time and money on your entrepreneurial or investment journey. Let's jump in. If you are new to this channel, you might not know me. My name is Tammy Shiambade, and this is Ask Tammy Live, where we discuss the best ways to establish your business, protect your name, and keep your profits. In other words, I help people protect what they create. And one way I do that is by helping people choose the right legal entity type. And that leads us to our question of the day today. What is a Series LLC? A Series LLC is a special type of limited liability company that allows you to create multiple series or separate divisions inside one legal entity. Each series operates with limited liability protection and shields its assets from the liabilities of the other series within the LLC. So let's talk about how it works. The key feature of a Series LLC is the ability to create distinct series or child LLCs within the overall structure. Each series can hold its own assets, incur its own liabilities, enter into contracts, and pursue business activities independently. Let's jump into the virtual classroom and look at that really quickly. All right, here we are. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simple, but let's check it out. So this is how a Series LLC works. You usually have a parent structure at the top, and you form that formally by registering with your Secretary of State. But you have to file with very specific language and follow a very specific structure. But once you do that, you are then able, without having to go to the Secretary of State over and over again, you're able to create these series or these child entities underneath it. That function essentially has separate LLCs underneath the major one. So if you're a real estate investor, our big thing is we want to, isolate our risk and keep things separate. You might have 3 child or series LLCs underneath your number one parent's LLC. And here's the cool thing about it is that you can still pursue business activities independently with your Series LLC, right? What do I mean? I mean that you can have a complete separation of the assets and liabilities within this structure. Right? You have enhanced asset protection, enhanced flexibility, and it allows you to basically be able to move with a little bit more freedom with regards to your different business ventures or real estate properties that you might be investing in. Each of these series has the ability to own its own property, and it can have its own members and its own managers. And remember, members in the LLC world are essentially owners. So they truly function independently. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, wait, this is really interesting. How can I get in on this? I'm going to tell you how. But I also wanted to show you another way this might function. All right. So let's say, again, you have your overall LLC, your parent LLC, but then you might create series to separate the actual functioning parts of the business. So you might have one series that focuses on the operations. That might be hiring people, buying things for the company, entering into contracts for the services that are provided. That might all be done under one series. And then when it comes to intellectual property, owning it, that might be done under another series. And then with regards to purchasing large assets, large equipment, maybe even actual real estate property, you might do that under yet another series, right? So there are different ways in which this gets to function. All right. Now let's jump back into our regular world and talk about something that becomes of real great importance. And that is, can you access it? Well, here's one of the things you need to know. A Series LLC is not available in all 50 states. It's currently pretty limited. So they are available in Texas, where I practice, Delaware, Iowa, Nevada, Illinois, Oklahoma, Alabama, and a few other places. But how it functions might vary depending on the state where you're forming it. Now, again, you're like, okay, this sounds pretty good, and it provides some really great opportunities, but there are both pros and cons. So I wanted to spend a few moments talking about the differences. So here are some pros that are really valuable with the Series LLC. Number one is the limited liability protection. Again, you get to enjoy separate liability protection in each of those child companies, right? So you're minimizing cross risk across the different ventures or properties. The other thing is it's cost efficient. You're not going to the Secretary of State every time spending more money getting an LLC formed. You You basically have the permission to do what based off of the structure you have. And then finally, this is simplified administration. You can have all of these business entities or all these properties under basically one umbrella, right? Keeping things like filing your taxes pretty streamlined. But there are some cons, so let's get into that. Con number one is the legal complexity. Series LLCs are, again, the new kid on the block. So it's a relatively new concept, and it might be something that people are not familiar with, and that varies from jurisdiction. The other thing is, again, it's not in every single state. So if you're not in one of those states, go back and look and see if your state actually has the Series LLC. And what this also means is that because it's not certain, it leads us to our third con, which is there's a level of regulatory uncertainty. It means we're not sure exactly how it's going to function because it's new. We haven't had a lot of case law that shows what's going to happen if this type of entity goes to court. The other thing is that, hey, if you're in one state or another state, one state might have a Series LLC and another state might not have it. And what do we do in those instances? How do we function there? It hasn't been tested, so we really don't know. A lot of elements, again, may differ depending on the jurisdiction that you're in. So ultimately, the question is, should you be considering a Series LLC? Well, here's the people who I think should consider it. If you are somebody who has multiple real estate investments, I think a Series LLC, well, I should say this, multiple real estate investments in the same state. If they're in the same state, I think a Series LLC is an excellent option for you, because the states that provide for Series LLCs usually have created that separation, and that's the separation I'm always talking about on this channel, making sure you're not mixing your risks together. Well, the Series LLC allows you to do that, right? So you would be a great person for that. I think the same would be said if somebody has multiple business ventures in one particular place. That might be an excellent reason, right, to have a Series LLC. And again, I don't necessarily think that it should be in multiple states, because let's say you have a business that has been formed in the state of Texas, but you're carrying out functions in other states like New Jersey or New York or in other states that might not have the Series LLC. We can't tell you with a certainty how the courts in New York or New Jersey are going to interpret a Series LLC. But if everything that you're doing is kind of functioned out of one central location, maybe it's all in Texas, maybe it's all in Delaware, then that would be a really good consideration for you. You might be able to truly benefit from the flexibility and the asset protection offered by these Series LLCs, right? So they can also help you save money when you're doing a lot of different things under one different entity. So if you remember the last example I showed, it was a business that had different arms, had its intellectual property, it had its real estate, it had its services. If that's you, a Series LLC might help you. So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. As we wrap this up, I want you to know that a Series LLC is a truly innovative solution for serial entrepreneurs or serial investors who want to streamline their business operations and protect their assets. All right, this might not be perfect for everyone because, again, it's not available in all the states, and it does bring about some complexities. But for those who know, this might be something for you to tap into, okay? Now, if you need help deciding what type of entity you want to form between the LLC or corporation, I have another video that breaks those things down, right? And so I will put a link to that in the chat box or the description box below. But if you are looking for help actually forming a Series LLC and you're like in the state of Texas, I can help you. Reach out to us, schedule a consultation, and let's see what we can do to make sure you're protecting your business and protecting what you create. And I want you to be able to get that specific help to really help you focus in on your business, right? Oftentimes when I get questions here in this place or I get questions on YouTube, I can't really lock in. But if you want to be able to lock in on specific advice for you, schedule a consultation. Final thing I was going to say is that if you want to kind of take your time and you just want to explore resources to kind of give you a business foundation, have you thinking like a lawyer without necessarily doing all those things right now, I do have a resource hub that is available to you. I'll put a link to that in the description box below, but you can go in there and you can access courses that I've created. You can access handouts that are available to you. And it's a growing resource library. It's kind of early on in its stages, but you definitely want to check it out because we have things that are super valuable to you. I hope you have found this video to be extremely helpful. I really want you to know about the new things that are happening in your potential area and know how you can leverage the law to protect what you create. That is what we are about here. If you want to learn more about what we do as a firm, you can visit us at toslegal.com. You can follow us on social, but we would love to have you access our resources through the resource hub I'm sharing below. Without any further ado, I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. I'll talk to you soon.